The global balance of power is shifting, faster and more dramatically than at any point in recent memory. As nations jostle for influence and resources, the world's attention is being drawn to a new and unexpected focal point. At the very heart of this seismic change is the Philippines, a nation of more than 7,000 islands, long known for its vibrant culture and strategic location, but now thrust into the global spotlight for a very different reason. Deep beneath its lush landscapes and rugged mountains, scientists have uncovered vast deposits of rare earth elements, those elusive minerals that are the backbone of our modern world. These elements are essential for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to wind turbines and advanced military technology. The discovery has sent shockwaves through the corridors of power, igniting headlines and urgent meetings among world leaders. This isn't just a resource boom, it's a geopolitical earthquake that could reshape alliances and redraw the map of global influence. For decades, the world's supply of these critical materials has been dominated by a single country, China. This near monopoly has given Beijing enormous leverage over global supply chains, technology industries, and even the defense capabilities of other nations. Now, with the Philippines emerging as a new source, the global landscape is set for a dramatic transformation. The country stands poised to break China's stranglehold, offering an alternative supply for the elements that power our digital lives and national security. Suddenly, all eyes are on Manila. Decisions made here will ripple across continents, affecting everything from Silicon Valley's tech giants to the halls of power in Beijing and Washington. The Philippines is no longer just a bystander, it's a key player on the world stage. But with great opportunity comes great risk. The promise of newfound wealth is shadowed by concerns over environmental destruction, social upheaval, and political instability. Communities are already voicing fears about pollution, displacement, and the long-term costs of rapid development. The Philippines now stands at a crossroads. Will it harness this moment to build a more prosperous and equitable future for its people, investing in infrastructure, education, and sustainable growth? Or will it become entangled in the ambitions of global superpowers, caught in a tug-of-war that could threaten its sovereignty and stability? Our story begins deep underground, where the remnants of a lost continent have set the stage for a new era in global resource politics, one that could define the future of nations and the fate of the planet itself. The Philippines' rare earth wealth traces back to a vanished tectonic plate, Pontus. In 2023, Dutch geologists confirmed its existence, revealing that fragments of Pontus now lie beneath the Philippines and the South China Sea. As Pontus subducted millions of years ago, it created the perfect conditions for rare earth minerals to form. These geological forces, once a source of earthquakes and volcanoes, have secretly endowed the region with immense strategic value. The discovery of Pontus's remnants is more than academic. It's a treasure map, pointing to the Philippines as a new global resource hotspot. The ghost of Pontus has returned, not as a relic, but as a harbinger of the future. Rare earth elements, 17 unique metals with names like neodymium, dysprosium, and lanthanum, are a group of elements found scattered throughout the Earth's crust. Despite their name, these elements aren't actually rare in terms of their overall abundance. What makes them special, and challenging, is that they're rarely found in concentrated, mineable deposits. Extracting and refining them is a complex, resource-intensive process that requires advanced technology and expertise. The difficulty in finding and processing these elements means that only a handful of countries have the capacity to produce them at scale. This scarcity in supply, rather than rarity in nature, is what makes rare earths so strategically important. Rare earths are the invisible force powering our modern world. They're essential to the devices and technologies we use every day, often hidden deep inside the gadgets we take for granted. From the vibrant screens of smartphones and the powerful magnets in electric vehicles, to the generators in wind turbines and the advanced systems in military aircraft, rare earths are at the heart of innovation and progress. Without a steady supply of these elements, our digital lifestyles would grind to a halt, and the global push for clean energy and advanced technology would face serious setbacks. For the past 30 years, China has established itself as the dominant force in both mining and processing rare earths, controlling up to 90% of the global supply chain. This dominance has given China significant influence over the world's access to these critical materials. When China restricts exports, the impact is felt worldwide, causing price spikes, supply shortages, and uncertainty for industries and governments alike. This monopoly gives Beijing enormous leverage in global affairs. As a result, the search for alternative sources has become urgent. Now, the Philippines is emerging as a key player, drawing international attention for its untapped rare earth potential. If developed responsibly, the Philippines' rare earth deposits could help diversify the global supply chain, reducing the world's dangerous dependency on a single source and creating new opportunities for economic growth. The stakes are high. Nothing less than the future of technology, economic security, and global stability depends on how the world manages its rare earth resources. The Philippines' discovery has triggered a global scramble. The US and China are locked in a strategic contest, each vying for influence over Manila's newfound wealth. China, once the quiet buyer of Philippine minerals, now faces a rival and risks losing its supply chain advantage. The US, Japan, and the EU are moving fast, offering investment, technology, and promises of sustainable development. For the Philippines, this is a moment of leverage, but also peril. Navigating these competing interests could bring prosperity, or risk turning the nation into a pawn in a high-stakes game. The choices made now will shape the country's future for decades. The United States has wasted no time forging a strategic partnership with the Philippines focused on critical minerals. This alliance goes beyond buying ore. It includes technical assistance, investment, and help building local processing capacity. The goal: move the Philippines up the value chain so it exports not just raw materials but finished products. For the US, it's about securing a resilient supply chain and countering China's dominance. For the Philippines, it's a chance to develop a high-tech industry and capture more of the profits. This partnership also deepens diplomatic and military ties, anchoring the Philippines in the US-led Indo-Pacific strategy. But such a bold move will draw close scrutiny and likely pushback from Beijing. The stakes for both nations have never been higher. Rare earths could bring the Philippines billions in investment, new infrastructure, and thousands of jobs. The nation could escape the resource curse by building a high-value, tech-driven economy. But sudden wealth brings risks: currency inflation, over-reliance on a single sector, and the threat of corruption. Ensuring that benefits reach local communities, those most affected by mining, is essential. Without transparency and strong governance, prosperity could quickly turn to instability. The path to lasting wealth is narrow, demanding careful management and inclusive growth. Rare earth mining and processing are notoriously toxic, threatening not only the forests and rivers of the Philippines, but also the health and well-being of countless communities. The extraction of these valuable minerals often comes at a steep price, leaving behind scars on the land that can last for generations. Toxic runoff, air pollution, and the destruction of habitats are just some of the immediate dangers that accompany this industry. Open pit mines gouge deep wounds into the earth, stripping away topsoil and vegetation. The processing of rare earths relies on hazardous chemicals, such as acids and solvents, which can seep into groundwater and contaminate drinking supplies. Even after mining stops, radioactive waste and toxic byproducts can linger, posing long-term risks to both people and wildlife. The environmental cost has been devastating in other countries. Polluted rivers, poisoned communities, and ruined ecosystems are grim reminders of what can happen when regulations are weak or ignored. In some places, entire villages have been forced to relocate, and once thriving landscapes have become barren wastelands, unable to support life. The Philippines now stands at a crossroads. It must enforce the world's strictest environmental standards, or risk trading one crisis for another. Strong oversight, transparent monitoring, and meaningful community involvement are essential to prevent irreversible damage. International partners can offer advanced technology and expertise, sharing best practices for cleaner, safer mining. But ultimately, the responsibility for protecting the nation's environment and people lies with Manila's leaders and its citizens. True success will be measured not just in profits or production numbers, but in the preservation of the nation's natural heritage. The survival of unique wildlife, the health of rivers and forests, and the well-being of future generations must be at the heart of every decision. The world is watching closely, looking to see if the Philippines can set a new global standard for responsible rare earth production, one that balances economic opportunity with environmental stewardship. The Green Revolution must not come at the expense of the country's own environment. The choices made today will echo for decades, shaping not only the landscape but the legacy the Philippines leaves for the world. Experts from geology, industry, and strategy agree. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Geologists marvel at the science linking ancient tectonics to modern prosperity. Industry leaders urge the Philippines to invest in its own expertise and capture more value at home. Strategic analysts see a chance to rebalance global supply chains and reduce dangerous dependencies. The message is clear: the risks are real, but so is the potential for national transformation. Success demands a deliberate sovereign strategy, one that leverages partnerships without sacrificing the national interest. The era of unwitting participation is over. The time for strategic leadership has arrived. The Philippines stands at a historic crossroads. With rare earths, it can leap from raw material supplier to high-value industrial power. But the pressures, foreign and domestic, are immense, and the risks of corruption, mismanagement, and environmental harm are real. The nation must insist on transparency, good governance, and the highest environmental standards. If it succeeds, the Philippines could set a global benchmark for responsible resource development. If it fails, it risks repeating the familiar story of squandered wealth and lost opportunity. The choices made now will echo for generations. The world is watching, hopeful that the Philippines can turn its geological fortune into lasting prosperity and security.